We wish you a very good morning. We thank you so much for being here today. Hello and welcome to the 9th annual Seniors Who Rock. I'm George Zahn. I'm the station manager of WMKV Public Radio. I'm proud to serve again as your master of ceremonies for this very important occasion. I look forward to this every year. Thank you for making time to join us to honor 3 inspiring seniors. In 2015, Pro Seniors established Seniors Who Rock to shine a positive light on older adults and to celebrate the value and the vibrancy these men and women bring to our community. We also know that the need for Pro Senior services is continuing to increase. Pro Seniors provides nonprofit, no-cost legal and long-term care advocacy to Ohio seniors. And soon you're going to hear more about the mission, and you're going to meet some inspiring honorees. Seniors Who Rock is possible because of support from sponsors, including our in-kind sponsors, ITA Audiovisual Solutions, thank you, CET Connect, Norton Outdoor Advertising, and WMKV are proud to be media sponsors for Seniors Who Rock. As a longtime partner of Pro Seniors, our station, WMKV, helps to reach seniors and caregivers with sound advice, including Pro Seniors' weekly Medicare Moment radio program. You can hear it every Thursday at 2 o'clock. I don't know if you all know this, but to date, Pro Seniors has recognized 31 Seniors Who Rock honorees. We hope you'll join me and all of us in a round of applause for our former honorees who have joined us again this year: Kathleen Brinkman, Carrie Caldwell, Tom Cooney, Sister Dee Sizzler, and Sister Catherine Ann Connolly. If you'd like to stand, and let's give them a round of applause. We also have some other VIPs here. We have some elected officials joining us today: Representative Scott Lips, Hamilton County Commissioner Denise Driehaus, and Representative Bill Seitz. We thank you all for taking the time to celebrate Seniors Who Rock with us. We are grateful to our gold sponsors, Bricker Graydon, Council on Aging of Southwestern Ohio, and Ritter Danaher Financial Advisory. Your gold sponsorships are helping Pro Seniors reach more Ohio seniors who need the expertise to resolve a legal or long-term care problem. Our silver sponsors believe in justice as well: Bilstein Built to Give Back, the Center for Closing the Health Gap, Ohio Access to Justice Foundation, Robbins, Kelley, Patterson, and Tucker, and the Yunker Group. Thank you also to our bronze sponsors listed here: Barnes Denig, Bartlett & Company, Benchmark Wealth Management, Sisters of Charity, Tom Cooney and Helen Fans LeVay, Freaking Myers and Rule, Hesch Law and CPA, Johnson Investment Counsel, Chad Levin, JD, Malott and Malott, Dimity and Matt Orlett, PNC Bank, Spring Grove Funeral Homes, Taft Law, Von Lehman CPA, and Western and Southern Financial Group. And thank you to our friends of Seniors Who Rock and our in-kind sponsors who also invest in supporting Pro Seniors' mission. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dimity Orlett, attorney, the executive director of Pro Seniors.
Thank you so much, George. We're so lucky to have you. And thanks to all of you for being here this morning. It's just wonderful to have a room full of smiling faces to help us honor 3 amazing seniors who are making inspiring contributions to our community. And as George mentioned, in addition to celebrating these fine individuals, we're here to celebrate aging. And sometimes when I say that, people laugh or grimace because aging and older people really do kind of get a bad rap in our society. And in fact, globally, studies have shown that ageism is the most common and accepted form of discrimination. And so the problem with that is ageism, like all forms of discrimination, has harmful effects, including poor health outcomes for seniors. So we are proud to be here to be part of a movement to reframe aging and to confront ageism. At Pro Seniors, since 1975, our mission has been to work to enhance the quality of life and independence of seniors. We do that by providing no-cost legal and long-term care advocacy, education, outreach, and access to resources. I'm proud to say that just last year alone, our legal team assisted more than 7,500 seniors to resolve legal issues that had the impact or the potential to disrupt their lives. And then our ombudsman team assisted more than 10,500 long-term care residents in understanding their rights and resolving issues that were impacting their quality of care and quality of life. And also our senior Medicare patrol team empowered more than 32,000 seniors statewide to recognize, avoid, and report fraud. So we're very proud of this work, and it's only possible because of the leadership of our Board of Trustees, the hard work of our skilled staff and volunteers, and the support of people like you. So thank you so much for being part of that. I do want to ask the members of our board, staff, and volunteers that are here today just to stand up briefly to be recognized. I know we have a number of folks here. Thank you so much for believing in our mission and making our work possible. I want to share that today's event is offered in remembrance of our dear friend and colleague, Bob Vines, who passed away suddenly in December of last year. Bob was a colleague of ours at Pro Seniors for over 20 years. He was the leader of our long-term care ombudsman program since 2014. An extremely skilled, passionate advocate, also just a wonderful friend and colleague, so funny. There's a few pictures here that show his funnier side. His presence is missed so much in our office, but we're trying to live up to what he would want us to do going forward. And we're really happy to have Bob's family here with us today to help celebrate his memory and his contributions. And also especially happy that Paula Christian, an investigative reporter with WCPO, is here today to share her remembrance of Bob. Paula and Bob became acquainted during the pandemic when Paula and WCPO were wanting to shed light on important issues impacting seniors. And together, Paula and Bob did that, worked on a number of stories together. And so I want to invite Paula up to share her thoughts. And I just want to thank you, Paula, for your excellent reporting, which continues, and for being here with us today.
Well, it is a real honor to speak about Bob. He was a very kind, honorable man. He had a deep sense of purpose. He was also very funny and a little bit quirky. And I just loved seeing him every time I would interview him. I first met him in 2020 when I started to do a number of stories about COVID and how it was impacting nursing homes. It was very difficult to get information about what was going on inside these facilities because nobody could go inside. Bob was contacted by a number of family members, so he kind of gave me an inside look about what was going on inside these facilities. I spent many hours with Bob over the past 3 years, reporting on the lack of staffing, which resulted in poor care, cold meals, lack of grooming and personal hygiene, loneliness, people dying alone, families being denied visits. Bob was always so concerned about seniors. He felt deeply for them, and he worried that their last years were being spent in isolation and without dignity. Through Bob, I came to understand that the problems with seniors had been there before COVID, and unfortunately, they are still there. Bob fought tirelessly for them. He wanted them to have choices and to be treated with respect, to understand their human rights and their legal rights. And he helped so many families navigate a very complex system so that they could advocate for their loved ones. I worked with Bob so much over 3 years that I actually saw his evolution in front of the camera from somebody who was very nervous to do an interview on camera to somebody who would come out wearing a brand new suit, like fully groomed and very polished on camera, and it was very kind of funny to watch. The final story that I did with Bob was in last September, and it was about seniors who were not getting transportation to their doctor's visits through MyCare Ohio. They would wait for hours for transport to pick them up to take them to the doctor or to medical appointments or dialysis. And then sometimes they would just never show up. And then they would wait to get picked up to go home, sometimes in the rain, in a wheelchair, waiting. I would never have known about any of these stories without Bob and Pro Seniors. So it was hard for me personally to hear that Bob had passed away so suddenly and so young. He was a very good person, and he leaves behind a powerful legacy. I will continue to share the stories that need to be told, giving a voice to a group of people who are often forgotten just because they're old. Thank you, Bob, and we miss you.
Thank you so much, Paula. Now, before we move on to celebrating our honorees, we want to share with you a brief video that features Matt Barnes, who's one of Pro Senior's staff attorneys. Matt will be speaking with Patty, whom he helped file her aunt's long-term care Medicaid application, and you'll hear about the impact that assistance had on Patty, her aunt, and their family.
Hi, my name is Matthew Barnes. I'm a staff attorney at Pro Seniors, and I assisted Patty with her aunt's long-term care Medicaid application. We were able to assist her aunt in getting what she needed done and able to access the benefits she was entitled to. Sometimes when people are trying to qualify for different kinds of public benefits like long-term care Medicaid, they may not realize all of the different rules and regulations that are in place. And in many cases, they may not even understand that they might need these benefits one day if they have significant assets. But for people who go into long-term care, it is so expensive. It can be very expensive to private pay. Before they know it, they'll be in a position where they do need to apply for these public benefits programs. For people who do find themselves in a situation where they all of a sudden realize they do need to qualify for these types of benefits, they can, of course, always call Pro Seniors. They can call our legal helpline to start getting the information they need about what they need to do to become eligible for these benefits. But even for people who may not think they need these benefits or see them as being far off in the future, they can still call our legal helpline, any Ohio resident age 60 and over, and start getting information beforehand that can make the process easier down the line and just find out what they may need to do or if there are any actions they need to take at this time.
My aunt is my mother's sister, and she did everything very primitive, so to speak. She drove to the bank to get a money order to pay her checks, kept her money in a savings. She never even opened a checking account because she didn't know how to do it. So the rest of my aunts and uncles are gone, and Lizzie's the last, and my mother was gone. So I was playing the role of my mother, but I had not near the information she would have had, because at one time they even worked together. She's special to me. And she's pretty amazing, I might add. She is, she's still, thank goodness, in the same place where we had started, and she has had COVID 3 times. I don't know how many boosters, but she's had COVID 3 times and she recovered. The biggest problem, health-wise, she's fine, but it has really worked on her dementia, and she does not recognize me anymore. She does, my dog. She reaches out. The dog is wonderful stimulation for her. She is 92. And I hope I can be half of what my aunt is. I would tell them, first of all, get as much information from their loved one as they can right away up front. Don't be afraid to ask the questions like they didn't want to invade privacy, because it's important. You never know how long the process is going to take. And unfortunately, today, the cost to take care of them in a skilled nursing facility is monumental. So even if you know that you have that type of money, you need to make these plans, and you need to look at things up front and don't wait till the end. And this, I had no clue. My aunt did not live like she had the means that she did. And so she was a very prim and proper, but frugal woman. And I would have never guessed. And so I thought, we're good. And it doesn't take that long. If this case could be solved, I'm convinced Matt can help anybody. Anybody.
After Patty came to us, we were able to work with her to help her get the verifications that her aunt needed in order to become entitled to Medicaid benefits. For our legal helpline services, anybody who's age 60 and older and a resident of Ohio can call, or anybody can call on somebody else's behalf, as long as that person is also age 60 and a resident of Ohio. And it can be regarding any legal issue for either brief advice or referral as needed. And that number to call is 1-800-488-6070.
What you're seeing is the kind of impact that Pro Seniors has in our community. It's inspiring. We can see that resolving a legal or a long-term care issue literally changes lives, not just of the individual affected, but of their family. And if that didn't touch you, I don't think anything will. I love this room. This is my second time being able to do this. This is a room of supporters, and I would stress this is a room of doers. You saw Matt. You've heard about Bob. These are doers. They are representative of doers. I'm wearing a musical tie today because you are all instrumental in helping Pro Seniors. I hope you're as inspired as I am by what you've just heard, and want you to know what you can do to help. Now is your chance. If you'd like to invest in bridging the justice gap for Ohio seniors, please consider giving generously to Pro Seniors. Not only is Seniors Who Rock a meaningful recognition event we're here for, but it is also Pro Seniors' main fundraiser. Pro Seniors' goal is to raise $50,000 today, and we're not far off. Actually, with 200 guests in this room, a gift of $100 from each of you would help us reach that goal. Now, if you wish to make a gift, all you need to do is take out your cell phone. This is one of the few times in a presentation that we tell you to take out your cell phone, and nobody from the state of Ohio will stop you or pull you over. So pull out your cell phone and text Seniors Rock to 41444. That's Seniors Rock to 41444. Click on the blue link and type in the amount of your gift. If you prefer, you can use one of the envelopes at your table, or we also have a QR code at the table, which is really cool as well. You can give a check or cash if you'd like. Please fill in your name and contact information. Pro Seniors would like to sincerely thank you for your help. And don't worry, they do not share any of your information with anyone else. please consider the help that older Ohioans will receive through your generosity today. Not only do I thank you on behalf of a station that represents seniors in our community, but also the many seniors who benefit from the great work performed by the staff and the volunteers. They thank you so much as well. Let's get on to the stars of the show. I hope you'll pick up that envelope or use the QR code or text. But now the stars of the show are honorees. To qualify as an honoree, one must be at least 70 years old and active, working or volunteering, and adding value and vibrancy to our community. Each honoree will speak for a few moments today, sharing their thoughts on what keeps them rocking. Don't forget to post about the event. Again, use that hashtag #SeniorsWhoRock. And now let's begin. Described as a servant, an advocate, and a true hero for some of our most vulnerable population, our first honoree is a licensed social worker, but so much more. While still in high school, Polly Doran began working with older adults as an aide at St. Margaret Hall Nursing Home. This continued all through college while she studied psychology and social work, and upon graduation, St. Margaret Hall created the position of social service director, and they hired Polly. She was a pretty big deal at St. Margaret Hall, so big that they were part of her wedding as well. Very cool. Polly transitioned to consulting and providing in-home child care. When her son Patrick was in first grade, she joined the staff at the Council on Aging in 1982 as a care manager and with the in-home program for people who have low income and need nursing home services, but who want to remain in their homes, such an important factor for many older adults. Polly quickly became involved in advocacy and developed the initiative for elected officials to visit the homes of Council on Aging clients to see the importance of in-home services for older adults, their constituents. With this experience and passion, it's no wonder that Polly went on to become a team leader, then Levy Program Liaison, Social Services Administrator, and Government Relations Manager. Who better to champion the desire of older adults to continue to live safely in their own homes? As Government Relations Manager, not only did Polly coordinate and facilitate meetings and client home visits with elected officials, she served on a variety of community task forces to improve senior housing, transportation, and safety. With her tenacity, Polly helped older Ohioans invite their state, local, and federal elected officials into their homes to hear firsthand experience of essential in-home care and services. Polly was recognized by a lot of folks. We'll tell you about that. The Ohio Association of Area Agencies on Aging, or O4A, in 2007 as Outstanding Advocate of the Year, an award reflecting her outstanding leadership through advocacy. Beth Kowalczyk, who is the Chief Policy Officer for O4A, says this: she effectively built and maintained important and genuine relationships with policymakers that made a difference to the people we serve. She would take the time to get to know the aides and the other legislative staff. Beth describes Polly as the gold standard advocate for the Aging Network. Like many of us, Polly also has personal experience of being a parent and caregiver. I think we all have that t-shirt. Her son Patrick says she's everything you'd hope for in a mom and the most caring, kind person I know. Polly and her sister Terry were working full-time while also being caregivers for their mother for her later years. Her 2022 retirement party celebrated her personal and professional impact, attracting over 100 friends and colleagues, including a bipartisan coalition of local and state elected officials who presented Polly with proclamations, letters of support, and videos commemorating her contributions to older adults and Ohio's aging population network. Describing Polly's impact, Representative Scott Lips, who is here with us today, said that Polly made his time in the legislature more meaningful and memorable than he could have ever imagined. He says, "Your work, 30 years of it, has resulted in remarkable changes for our aging community. We will continue to fight for everything that you so gracefully championed. We know that Polly's impact continues. One friend says, Polly is not one to seek personal attention or praise. Today we're going to do that. She quietly makes a difference simply by being in our lives. And on behalf of all who benefit from her lasting impact for older Ohioans, we are honored to recognize Polly Doran as a 2023 Senior Who Rocks. Congratulations.
Thank you to Pro Seniors, Dimity and Mary. Oh my gosh, I am so honored and to be here before all of you and your lovely faces. And so many in this room have gone with me along my journey as well. And I see my family my husband Dave, my son Patrick, his girlfriend Amy, my sister Terry, all who know more about bed bugs than they'd care to, who've listened to numerous budget concerns and issues, and have certainly worked many levy campaigns. And then COA, Suzanne and Ken, who just have been remarkable and always gave me the freedom to just go and do, and which really, when you have that level of trust, it just makes you want to advocate even more, and certainly for those we serve who needs are many, and the wonderful board members who always had my back and were right there with me in all the meetings, and to have these wonderful, our champions, elected officials, Representative Scott Lips, Representative Bill Seitz, and Commissioner Driehaus. They are incredible, and we are so fortunate that they still champion the causes and carry our message forward about those who need services, home and community-based services, so they can remain in their homes. And not everyone is as gracious and certainly our champions as these three. We've always tried, as I know many, to educate with advocacy. And I know years ago there was a senator that I kept wanting to meet with us. He wouldn't, and I'm glad you used the word tenacity rather than stalking, because that's pretty, anyway, he wouldn't meet with us, but he finally decided he'd go on a home visit. And as we're waiting to enter the client's home, he's, Polly, how long is this going to be? I mean, I am really very busy. I have important meetings after this, and I just said, as long as you need. It's your constituent. You can check pros and cons and other things. So we went in. I have never met the clients before we go on home visits, and this was perfect. She was a gem and mentioned her needs. She thanked him profusely for his support of this program, and that she so just wanted to be at home and so that she could enjoy. She's been there for over 50 years and just went on and on. She had a lot of community resources, and she said that she was thrilled with Council on Aging. So when we left, which was 2 hours, he said, Polly, that was really great. I had no idea you did all those things, or the importance of home and community-based care. And he said that's really important, and I'm glad to know and receive the insight into someone's life who has so many losses. And then he says, well, I'm tired and I'm going to go home and take a nap. And I thought, the important meetings, but anyway, that's what we've always strived to do, and it's wonderful, the partnerships that we've made along the way, and I'm so grateful to all of you. Thank you so much, and just keep being the great champions you are.
Polly, thank you. And our radio station seems to be one of the last that cares about anybody over the age of 45, much less anybody over the age of 60. And thank you for being that voice and connecting our government officials and making sure that this stays in the forefront to a lot of people who feel like they may not have a voice. That is tremendous. And also, if they're battling the bed bugs, we have to get our government officials to call out some undercover agents. Sorry. That's my only one. Dimity's getting the hook. I'm sure I'm not alone. I hope you are all inspired by the way that Polly engages with everyone to make that mission of remaining safely in our own home a reality for so many Ohio seniors. Our next honoree was born in Newman, Georgia, but is called Over the Rhine home for over 50 years, Georgia Keith. When change is happening in Over the Rhine, you can be sure that Georgia has something to say about it. Georgia has lived these changes for over 50 years. She cares. She and her husband Milton raised their 4 children in this community. Their grandchildren and great-grandchildren are here too. The granddaughter of a Native American licensed midwife, Georgia had plenty of firsthand experience of what makes a community. Georgia recalls that her grandmother sometimes provided the only medical care available. As Georgia says, money doesn't make community. People make community. Moving to Cincinnati from the South, Georgia came with hopes of better opportunities. At age 18, Georgia started work in a dietary department at Twin Towers Retirement Community and was quickly promoted to preparing special diets. It was clear that Georgia had something to offer and the drive to make the most of every opportunity. Georgia's 39-year career in Cincinnati public schools took her into a variety of schools, culminating in her role as school community coordinator. She serves as vice president of the board for Over the Rhine Community Housing and was recently appointed to the board of the Center for Respite Care. Georgia is also active in our faith community. To this day, the school kids and their parents recognize Georgia in the community. She also maintains many of the connections she made in the business community, where she could turn when the school children or their families needed something. Whether it was providing generous Thanksgiving baskets for families or rallying the neighbors to clean up a playground, Georgia has that special something that makes you want to work right alongside of her. Recalling the previous decades on Republic Street, Georgia was there in the 1980s when the neighborhood playground was dedicated by former Cincinnati Bengals coach Sam White. She was also there in 2001 after Timothy Thomas was killed. And the following years, when neighbors came together to discourage drug activity, Georgia would remind them that this is a children's park. They would recognize her, they'd move on. Well, both Georgia and her husband experienced segregation of the 1970s and other forms of racism since. She hasn't let that dampen her spirit. Instead, Georgia is willing to share her experience with others who want to learn and, more importantly, understand. Mary Burke Rivers, executive director of Over the Rhine Community Housing, says, "Through all that Georgia has experienced in her lifetime and in this community of Over the Rhine, she remains positive and supportive. She is our ambassador, sharing the work of the Over the Rhine Community Housing with friends, family, neighbors, and acquaintances." In 2018, Mayor John Cranley proclaimed October 11th as Georgia Keith Day in the city of Cincinnati. Mary Burke Rivers says, Georgia has represented the neighborhood on numerous panels hosted by a variety of groups, and she has shared her experiences with the media. Her voice is valued and respected. We can see the impact of her dedication to family and her service in the neighborhood and on the board of Over the Rhine Community Housing. Georgia brings together diverse neighbors from different walks of life who care about their community and want to make things and make that community better. Who wouldn't want to work alongside Georgia? For her dedicated grassroots leadership and community impact, we are honored to recognize Georgia Keith as a senior who rocks.
They say if you find something you love, you'll never work a day in your life. But I beg to differ that. As you know, being in public service, you wear many hats. And of course, I wore many. And under those caps, on a daily basis, you meet different individuals. They have different concerns. They have different challenges. And you have to become creative. So I had to work. So becoming creative, I had to respect, earn trust, give a little bit of stability and guidance. Out of all of this, it pays off because down the line, those individuals will come back to you and say, thank you, Mrs. Keith. Boy, you were mean, but it paid off. Some of the children today, their parents I had, in a reading program. You taught me how to sound out words. You taught me how to pronounce this. When someone come back and say that to you, it's meaningful. So Ralph Waldo Emerson stated it best: to laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find beauty in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed special condition, to know that one life has breathed a little better because you live there. This is to have succeeded. So, to my family who has always been there, even though I neglected family time to help others. My extended family, who my follow-uppers, they fall right in line. And also, you didn't listen. To such great organizations who have allowed me to participate and be a part of CRC and OTRCH, and to my resource team, who was always and still is there when I need them. So it doesn't matter what the reason or the why or the who, all they say is just give us a call. So last but not least, to Pro Seniors, who recognizes those of us who are in the 70 era, thank you. And thank you all so very much.
Absolutely, and I can say beautiful, Georgia. Thank you so much. Again, we kind of have a running theme here of representing those who may feel that they don't have a voice. And without Georgia, I shudder to think what might happen. And over the Rhine, thank you for what you're doing for our community and what you have done and continue to make. And I hope people carry that forward. Some have called our final honoree Mr. Geography for his love of maps and international travel. He was born in Clinton, Iowa. John Pinney may have gone to lead the family printing business. Fortunately for all of us, he didn't. While his parents retired to Florida, John continued his education. He earned his undergraduate degree at the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School of Business and his law degree at the University of Michigan. During law school, John was heavily involved with legal aid and became interested in litigation. He started his legal career as law clerk for the Honorable Philip Pratt of the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Michigan. Returning from a summer tent camper trip out west, and you're going to hear more about his trips and his wonderful adventure, John moved to Cincinnati in 1974 when he was recruited to the Graydon, Head, and Ritchie law firm. As his interest and experience grew, John has often been the lead attorney on complex international litigation, recognized nationally and internationally by his peers as an accomplished attorney in international law, arbitration, and complex litigation for what is now the firm Bricker Graydon. John enjoys the opportunity to serve as a guru on procedure and a resource on strategic issues for the firm. Since 2014, John has served on the board of directors for the Ohio Access to Justice Foundation. During his tenure and leadership, the foundation has expanded funding for legal aids while launching new innovative initiatives to improve access to justice. Since 2017, John has been involved in the development of Ohio Legal Help. As a strategic thinker with a desire for equal access to justice, John was an instrumental member of our steering committee for developing this online resource for all Ohioans who face civil justice issues. Lynn, his wife, says, John enjoys people, especially family. He also likes the law, maps, and travel. When John and Lynn invited guests for their annual tree trimming holiday party at their recently sold 1878 vintage home next to the observatory, friends always insisted on bringing something. Well, seizing that opportunity to apply his generosity and urging theirs where it's needed most, John turned their holiday party into a toy drive for children attending Wesley Education Center, a local preschool in Avondale, on whose board he was serving. John embraces life with unparalleled energy, combining travel, family, and friends with professional meetings of international organizations of attorneys from across the globe. His daughter, Sarah, recalls, boy, I can relate to this, when both our knees were in much better shape, I would occasionally join my dad on some of the travels, and this often included a morning to explore the area. 2 memorable runs, including through Cape Town Harbor in South Africa and around Tiananmen Square in Beijing. Sarah says, if I have half the energy and attitude of my dad, I have nothing to worry about for the next 20 years. She's not kidding. Last summer, John and his son Matt took on an epic road trip, complete with tent camping through Canadian prairies and the Yukon before arriving in Alaska, where daughter Sarah, son Nate, and the rest of the family gathered to celebrate his 75th birthday. Even with this extensive travel schedule, John is known for making time to give back and pay it forward to the next generation of attorneys. An adjunct professor at UC College of Law since 2015, John has continued to teach international commercial arbitration as a volunteer. John has been an indispensable mentor to UC law students, says Nora Burke-Wagner, Assistant Dean for International and Graduate Programs and Director, Master of Laws. When John talks about coaching law students for the annual Wismut competition in Vienna, he lights up. Described as a journey of education, reflection, and enlightenment, this international competition is also referred to as the Olympics of international trade law. for his unwavering commitment to mentoring others and serving as a tireless community advocate who helps us along our journey. We are honored to recognize John Pinney as a senior who rocks.
Thank you. Well, good morning. This is indeed a grand morning. It's just been said that I'm a senior who rocks. I get it that I'm a senior. Golly, I just had my 76th birthday a few weeks ago. I'm afraid, though, I need to go to the dictionary to get a sense as to what it means to say that I rock. According to Merriam-Webster, one definition is to move back and forth, as if in a cradle, to sing, dance to, or play rock music. No. To be extremely enjoyable, pleasing, or effective, as in her new car rocks. Well, maybe that's close enough. I guess that's it. I think I must be an old guy who is extremely fun and effective. I'll let others judge. I suppose just keep doing what I've been doing for the last, say, 50 years. What is it that I have been doing? While it's true that, as I say on the golf course, I don't hit the ball quite as far as I once did, but at least I'm still hitting the ball. And as I see it, there's still yet much to do. Before I share what some of those things to do are, let me first thank those who made it possible for me to be here. Starting first with my lovely wife, Lynn, who's my compass, and without her, I certainly wouldn't have found my way here. Thank you, Lynn. Second, I want to thank all my friends at Pro Seniors, especially its executive director, Dimity Orlett. And I'm sure everyone knows how important Pro Seniors is to our community, and indeed all seniors in Ohio. Pro Seniors provides, as has been already talked about, no-cost legal services and guidance to Ohioans 60 and older. I must say that this is a prime audience for Pro Seniors because I think most everybody kind of qualifies with the age criteria. Not everybody. We have a few young folks here, and welcome. I personally want to thank all of my friends who, just by attending, are supporting this important mission of Pro Seniors. I'll also mention that at the Graydon Law Firm, we have some alumni and current members who have been important to Pro Seniors, including especially beginning with Rhonda Moore Bedall, and also a current member of the board, Chris Buttress. Thank you, Chris and Rhonda, for your service to Pro Seniors. I also see the executive team from Ohio Access to Justice Foundation, Kiko Lee and Tammy Ringheiser for the foundation, and I also have a big supporter in a offshoot of Ohio Access to Justice Foundation, Ohio Legal Help, and Susan Che is its executive director. It's my honor to serve on the board of both of those organizations and to help fund Pro Seniors and Ohio Legal Aids. The foundation's mission is to help all Ohioans, but mainly lower-income Ohioans. Over to my left are all of my colleagues from the law firm, Bricker Graydon, and not only wish to thank them for their support, but also for their career-long friendships and support for me the last 49 years at the Graydon Law Firm, now Bricker Graydon. Through that, I was able to build my international law practice, and with that, travel all over the world, as was just shown over the last 30 years. My former law partner, as I mentioned, Rhonda Moore-Vidal, was ProSenior's executive director for over 18 years. And lastly, the executive directors of two other very important organizations to me, Cincinnati Observatory Center and the World Affairs Council. Anna Heeman is here. She's the executive director of the Cincinnati Observatory Center, and Michelle Harpenau-Glandoff is also here. These two great organizations are ones on which I've served as president and vice chair, as well as both their boards for many years. Before concluding, I'd like to also congratulate my fellow honorees, Polly Doran and Georgia Keith. They're truly rocking seniors and having well served the greater Cincinnati community, as you've already heard. And oh yes, there are some of those things I still need to do. While I truly love doing some of those bucket list items that many of those who have reached our stature and age, like visiting grandkids, traveling to new places, playing golf, and the like, I also feel that each of us has a mission in life to use his or her God-given talents to try to make the world a better place. Mainly for that reason, I plan to continuing to do my best to do just that. And also, I believe that the key to happiness and longevity is having purpose. In addition to this being a special day for ProSeniors, it also happens to be the first day of class at the University of Cincinnati College of Law. On my way here, I stopped at my classroom and posted a sign saying that Professor Pinney will be late this morning for my 8:30 class. So I said, well, I'll get there by 10, so I'll need to scoot shortly after we finish here. But law school is important. It's something that really and truly helps keep me young, dealing with 24, 25, 26-year-old law students, and especially, as was mentioned, I have the distinct honor of coaching a team that I take to Vienna every year in the spring. So I look forward to that. So thank you, ProSeniors, for this honor. It's a great day, and congratulations to all of my fellow honorees. Thank you.
We don't want to make John any later for class, but John, please don't run out right now because we want to get a photo of all of our honorees together. And I think, as you mentioned, not only your compass, your true north, and your true love is Lynn. So, and also, I realized sitting here that John may be our very first ever senior who rocks, who also climbs rocks. So, with all of his travels. But clearly, our three honorees, Polly Doran, Georgia Keith, and John Pinney, are outstanding individuals who represent our community. Their ongoing engagement and commitment has a positive impact on our community, and they inspire each one of us. Join me in recognizing these wonderful seniors who rock one more time. Well deserved. I'd also like to recognize the Resource Department Committee and other event volunteers for crafting an event worthy of our honorees. We thank you all so much. Thank you to everyone working here today. Please remember, post your pictures with the hashtag SeniorsWhoRock. You can tag also at Pro Seniors for social media. And finally, Pro Seniors, as a reminder, does not charge for services and is able to operate only through the gifts and other funding that you may give today. You can help Pro Seniors reach their goal today when you make a gift. Again, you can text Seniors Rock to 41444. That's 41444, Seniors Rock. And use the gift envelopes if you'd like, or the QR code if you'd like to do that as well. Please make a generous gift to Pro Seniors today in support of all our seniors who need their expert help. You're all doers. I hope that you will join all of us in doing for our community and be inspired by our incredible honorees today. Thank you so much for being here today. It is my honor on behalf of WMKV.
But thank you, everyone, for being here. Congratulations again to our seniors who rock, and have a wonderful day, and we hope to see you next year. Thank you.